Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Chris Cooper, known as the Channel Guy Trader, and I am reporting to you live from Wall Street Trading Satellite Office down in sunny South Florida. Today's date is Thursday, October the 25th, 2012, and here is today's After the Bell market summary. We got a lot to talk about today, so let's go ahead and get into it. First of all, let's start off with the Dow Jones. The Dow Jones was down the Dow Jones was up 26.34 points. The Nasdaq was up 4.42. The S&P 500 was up 4.22. Strongest index out of these three was the S&P 500, up 0.30%. If we take a look at the breadth today, we had 3,726 stocks advancing. We had 2,435 stocks declining on the NYSE, Nasdaq, and Amex. So the breadth was in favor of the bulls today. And before we take a look at the charts, a couple things to take note, obviously, is that Apple and Amazon had released earnings after the close, all right, and both of those stocks came out with the earnings and they recovered the earnings pretty well. So let's go ahead and just punch that up real quick because that is going to be important. That was all over the news, and of course, we're all over that. We're watching that, and we'll see how they trade tomorrow. But let's go ahead and just take a look at Apple real quick. Apple sold off all the way to a low of 585 and recovered. In my opinion, if these stocks did not recover after hours, the futures would be still hanging down right now, not bouncing back up, and we'll be in for a bloodbath day tomorrow. But since they recovered, things get very, very interesting tomorrow. So let's take a look at Amazon, AMZN. Amazon, same thing. Stock sold off and recovered. Hit a low of 204 or 204.15 or so, and now is all the way back at 221. So a lot of things going on in the mix. Tomorrow's going to be a very exciting day, and I can't wait to trade. And I hope you guys are feeling the same way and are going to have a game plan and be prepared tomorrow, as you should be. All right, so let's go and take a look at the SPY daily chart here. I want to first start by looking at this chart to see how it's setting up for us tomorrow. All right, the SPY closed up 41 cents, closing at 141.43. All right, this is the ETF for the S&P 500. A couple things to take note of. What I did here is I basically took this trend line from this high, and this high, and extended it to this trend line down here, which was the last little pivot low before we had this nice little momentum move up right here. All right, so that makes it relevant. You connect those lines, you connect that low, and now you can see why the S&P 500, the SPY, is hanging around this little lower channel right here. If we were to break below that and break up below today's lows, then I would be expecting us to move towards 139.50. If we take out today's highs around 142.28, we could move up here towards 142.60 or so, right into that 50-day simple moving average right there. Okay, so that's what it's looking like on the SPY. Now let's take a look at the ES because we're getting some interesting things, getting some interesting signals on the ES on my channel system. Okay, and as you guys can see here, one thing I want to walk you guys through here. Notice how, all right, last month we had that consolidation that took place in this channel right here. All right, before we broke out. All right, so notice how we got an official back test off that level right there. All right, and at the same time, notice what else is going on. All right, this was a key level that we were watching from before. As you guys know, we broke down out that level on Tuesday. All right, we got a back test of that level yesterday. We got rejected. Actually, that was today. That was actually today, sorry, not yesterday. And we got rejected at the high right on the open when we hit 14.1675 on the ES. But take a look at what's going on here, and I'm going to zoom in here for you guys. Notice how we're starting to get volatility is definitely picking up, as you can see here, connecting these highs, connecting these lows, and you can see how volatility is picking up as we keep on making new lows and the prior days and taking new highs out of the prior days. This is the candlestick. This is the ES candlestick for tomorrow. For Friday, and one thing I want to show you guys is this key trend line right here. Notice how the bodies are hanging above this key trend line, right? So anybody that's getting short below this trend line or below this level right here, which is around the 1405 level, so far they're in a losing position. All right, if we continue to remain above this trend line and we see this kind of chop action, all right, which we we note as a bear trap action down here, the same way I had the bear bull trap action up here in the top of the charts here. That's going to give us some signals that it's time to start covering your shorts and getting long some stocks. So we're definitely on the lookout for that. If we could take out this high up here above 1411 and hang above 1411, which has been the intraday level on the ES that has been giving us trouble, then and we can hold above that level, then I'll be looking for a move higher. All right, so that's how the ES is looking. You want to be watching that 1411 area. You want to be watching that 1405 and that 1402, 1400 area. Let's take a look at the Nasdaq via the triple Qs. All right, the triple Qs will be affected tomorrow, most likely unless Apple and Amazon recover all their gains from the sell off after hours. Then the Qs will obviously do the same thing. All right, as the Qs were trading pretty much in tandem with what the what the Apple and what Amazon was doing. Once they started recovering, the Qs started recovering after hours. So still watching this key trend line. Want to see the Qs get back above 66. If the Qs break below 65 and hold, then we're going to be looking for a move down here towards 63.89. If I take a look at the after hours chart to see what the Qs hit after hours, brings up on my other screen here. The Qs hit a low of 64. All right, so the Qs after hours hit this little pivot low down here. All right, so that's definitely going to be an area that we're going to be watching tomorrow if they sell all the way back down there. 64, then we're watching this 66 if we get back above that 66 level and back above this key trend line that I have noted on the chart. All right, let's take a look at the IWM. The IWM as well looks like it may be in an area where we could possibly try to get long for a little bounce play. You can see we had this little prior downward bullish channel that broke out. Kind of have the same pattern again right now, except it's not showing any clues that it's ready to get that bounce that a lot of people are looking for. Because right now the bears are in control of the market, and until we see some type of divergence or some type of change in sentiment throughout the next couple of days here, we got to wait until this thing gives more conviction, and it could just keep on trending lower. However, we are hanging above this support level around this 81 area, and if we continue to hold that level, all right, and trade sideways, and we don't go back down towards the bottom of the channel, same type of strategy we used on the VIX, on the volatility index, then we can expect this thing to pop up. So levels to watch on the IWM is if we can get over 82.20 or so and hold. That's for a bounce up to maybe say 83. And then if we break below 81 and hold, we'll be looking for a move back down towards Tuesday's lows around 80.43, and then maybe back down here towards 80 against that 200-day exponential moving average on the daily time frame. Let's take a look at the volatility index, the VIX. The VIX gapped down but rallied right back up, as we did have some selling pressure that took place on the ES in the early morning part of the session. All right, and then we got a nice little bounce on the ES around that 1402 level. That's when the volatility index started coming off of its highs after that little rally intraday. So it's still staying. We still remain at these elevated levels up here that we haven't hanging around. We haven't hung around these levels for a long time. As you can see, every time we hanged around 19, they sold it off. They sold it off, and right now we're still kind of hanging around that little 18, 19 area. So we want to see what happens here. We could fade back maybe a little bit more and get like a little back test of that trend line, or put like a little higher low in off that igniting candle and then move higher. Another thing that we're looking out for. Let's take a look at the dollar futures chart, dash DX on my system here. Dollar futures chart was strong today, but one thing I noticed was that when I turned the machine on in the morning here, risk was on, in essence that the crude oil was strong in the morning, gold was strong, silver was strong, copper was hanging in there. And the commodity sector held up pretty well today with the dollar having some strength today. And that's something to take note of, and we'll have to keep on tracking that to see what happens tomorrow. At the same time, just take note that the dollar is at the top of this range, and you guys know ranges, you buy the bottom, sell the top. So we want to be watching to see if the dollar is maybe going to do a little fake breakout, and then do some type of little reversal trap tail and start going back down, or maybe even just start selling off tomorrow. Or if it does continue to get higher, we want to see it hold above 80.25. Hold that level a couple consecutive closes, and then we'll be expecting the dollar to move higher. And obviously, that's going to bring some selling pressure in the commodity sector and the indices. So that's what it's looking like on the dollar. We take a look at gold now. I want to take a look at gold via the GLD. The GLD is still looking kind of ugly down here. No conviction that there's buyers trying to pick this up yet. We take a look at the gold futures chart, which gives us a little better view on the gold. All right, we can see here the gold futures chart is holding the 1700 level here, and this could possibly be an area. We could look for a bounce. One thing that I am watching on the gold futures chart is this little downward trend line that I'm going to put in actually right now to kind of gauge momentum of buyers taking control. And if we break above this little downward channel, then I'd be looking for a move back to the top side. Really want to see gold get back above, say, 17.20 an ounce and go from there. Let's take a look at the gold miners today. A lot of the gold miners came out with the earnings today, and they were trading pretty decent to the top side. All right, and right now the gold miners had an ugly day yesterday, and they recovered, closed on the highs here, closed up higher than yesterday's highs up here. As you can see, this was a kind of a little trap action for anybody that got short the gold miners. So we remain above that 50-day simple moving average and exponential moving average on the daily chart. Continue to watch these gold miners to see what they want to do. I mean, some strong ones out there that you can take a look at is GG. They came out with good earnings today, and you can see anybody that got short that stock yesterday is definitely caught in a bear trap right here below that level. And if this stock continues to push higher, they're going to start feeling some pain. Some buyers are going to start noticing the strength. So then you're going to have two forms of buying: from short covering, people that got short back here, or say right here in this area, and then from people that notice the strength and they're going to start wanting to buy. So keep an eye on GG. That looks pretty good. Another one, one of the stronger ones out there is AEM. They had good earnings out today as well. This one looks to go higher. If we take a look at the weekly chart, this one's looking pretty good. Nice little kind of cupping pattern. Oh, sorry. Nice little kind of cupping pattern going on right there. So that's what AEM looks like. Let's take a look at a couple more. ABX. See how this one's looking. ABX, not that bad. Some of these charts look ugly because they're down near the bottom of the range. But again, you always want to buy gold when people are in fear of buying gold, because that's when you get the best prices. You don't want to buy when it's all excited, because this is what happens when everybody gets excited buying gold. You get that nasty pullback. All right, so that's how ABX is looking. Let's take a look at crude oil via the USO first. USO, USO, we've been tracking USO for a while here, ever since it broke below this 35 level and then has not been able to get back above 35. Continues to go lower, has some slight support, has some minor support around this 3150 level. All right, want to see a little bit more traction around here, a little bit more basing, and some bids starting to hold here before I say, okay, they're maybe going to try to buy it against this 3150 level and not bring it all the way back down here where we have this little gap fill, which is all the way down 30. So not yet, still watching that, but definitely got to keep an eye on crude oil, because this will be a good area pretty soon to do a pickup for a little scalp opportunity, or whatever the case may be. Let's take a look at the crude oil futures. All right, crude oil futures hanging around this 86 area. Could sell off some more. Obviously, just like the USO, down here towards, I would say, this 84 area, or even like 83.50. At the same time, I want to see crude oil get above. This. What level is this here? 1 second. I want to see crude oil really get back above this 87.91 area, right? This little prior support that broke, so now it's going to act as resistance. So if we get back above 87.91, call it 88, definitely crude oil, and it holds that level. Definitely looking for crude oil to push right back up. We'll see. Still looking to see if there's some buyers that may try to step right in here in front of this 84 level of 83.50 level of support. Silver, let's take a look at silver, another commodity stock that a lot of people are obviously looking to trade since the precious metals. When they come back and play off the dip, silver is going to be something that people are going to be looking into. So silver, little doji day, indecision day, a spinning candle, whatever you want to call it. Little interesting candle to take a look at. Let's see how it looks on the 60-minute chart here. All right, 60-minute chart looks like it's holding this 31 level. Maybe if you can get a break above this 31.25 level, we can get some action. And the silver miners were hanging in there until they got hit. I believe it was yesterday they got hit. Let's take a look at a couple of them. SLW. All right, this one's still hanging in there. It's basically just in a range, as you can see here, between 36.95, call it 37, and this 41 area. So about a $4 range. And if this thing could consolidate a little bit more, we could get a nice little push higher. Keep an eye on this stock. You also have CDE. This one's stronger. This one actually looks even better. I may even pick this one up tomorrow. I do have an alert set over these highs, and just to make sure I do have one set, I'm going to reset it again. I'm going to set another alert right here again over, say, 30.85. But keep an eye on this stock right here. Let me take a look at the call option activity on it. Had a 6,069 calls purchased today, or call volume today, versus this 3,812 volume on the put side. A lot of strikes going off on the December 32s. And a lot of volume going off on the November 32s. Maybe somebody doing some spread action, right? There's some call spread action. So keep an eye on this one as well. This one looks pretty good. Definitely want to make sure I write this down on my A list right now. All right, CDE. So let's take a look at some of the financials. Goldman Sachs hanging in there. May want to pull back these moving averages. Not looking to do anything with the financials right now. Citigroup still hanging in there, recovering its 8-day moving average. Let's take a look at Morgan Stanley. Morgan Stanley, Wells Fargo, and that's not looking good. So the best one in the whole sector, obviously, is Citigroup. Let's take a look at JP Morgan. And JP Morgan's still kind of hanging in there, holding that 20-day moving average. So that's what the banks are looking like. Semiconductor stocks, we'll take a look at these real quick here. SOX. SOX still this little downward channel, holding this 360 level. I really don't see nothing much going on here. One semiconductor stock that I am watching is a CRUS, though. They have earnings coming out on Monday, and they're still holding their earnings gap from last quarter. So we'll see. And this stock obviously got hit today, and a lot of the technology stocks are selling off. Now let's take a look at the Apple daily chart. I know you got a lot of Apple traders out there. And like I said, Apple hit a low today after hours. Okay. Apple hit a low after hours of 585, which would have been down here towards the 20-day simple moving average and the bottom of the channel. So keep an eye on Apple because it could, gap so far. It's trading off its after hours lows and it's trading at 609. And if it could get back above 620, believe it or not, Apple will be back bullish here. All right, and Amazon. Okay, Amazon hit a low after hours again of 204. This thing got crushed after hours, but then again, hopefully, it could hold its recovery that it did after hours here. And 205, this little 205 area, actually not 205, sorry, a little low here of 206.37 is a reference level that we're going to be working with tomorrow if it does trade back down, which I highly doubt it because this stock recovered a lot. Recovered from 204 all the way back up to 220. Okay, so there's definitely some buyers in Amazon. If I'm gonna be looking to trade this tomorrow, if the stock holds above the opening price and bases out. So that's about it. Oh wait, one more thing here. A couple more stocks I want to take a look at with you guys here. Sears is looking pretty good. Believe it or not, it has been in this little range between 47 and 62 back here since April. While the market's been trading like crap, this has actually been performing pretty well. Keep an eye on Sears. If this thing breaks over 64, this thing could pretty much go. Still looking for that volume to pick up down there. As volume still remains kind of flat there, but want to see that volume kick in and keep an eye on that Sears. What else? Some other stocks I have on my A list. HIG. This stock's holding up there. HIG has earnings out next Friday. Watch this one for a continuation move tomorrow, possibly if the market's strong. What did the CTRP do today? This one did nothing. AGU, one of the stronger stocks out there, but chopping around down, not able to continue higher off that breakout from Monday. What else here? Riverbed, what's this one doing? This one was a good trading stock the other day when it was showing relative strength, pulling back a little bit right now. Lulu, I was expecting this one to get a meaningful bounce off this moving average, but so far, it had some selling pressure today. But even though it recovered off its lows there, let me take a look at the 60-minute chart real quick. Not looking exciting at all. So we'll see. Me personally, I don't want to get short anything down here on the markets. So I'm actually looking for some strong stocks that are trying to hold up or pulling back into support levels, and we'll go from there. But if the market does break down more, then I'll definitely start looking for some shorts that are holding below key resistance levels. So that's about it, guys. Hope you guys had a great trading day today. If you have not been to our website yet, please go to wallstreettrading.com. You can fill out the form on the right-hand side to get access to our My Wall Street TV, a live trading room where you'll see my screen, you'll hear my voice. It's me and my moderators, me and my partners that co-moderate the room with me, and we'll go from there, guys. Have a great night and enjoy some Thursday night football tonight. Cheers.